let them take their decisions. At a level, we will come together. The antithesis and the synthesis must come together.
I think that's the,
and then they will give us the synthesis.
That's not a fair statement on the public. When you say let the public allow the politicians, the public, you know, has always, you know, allowed the politicians. It is the politicians who haven't actually.
What I'm saying that the public is the one that is at the parlor waiting for the food to be ready.
And they're never served. That's why sometimes you see a caricature of a cartoon and you see a very big spoon from a very big politician spoon feeding the masses, and they're looking very malnourished. And that is why the people, because now we're talking about true representation, well, we have moved gradually from this issue of internal democracy in parties to true representation. Do you think that the people, the public, because you talked about the public, do you think the public are excited about the representation they get from the politicians?
You know, this is what I would say. In 1999, when this Fourth Republic was to come on board, a good number of persons, and I was involved, were skeptical whether the military was going to hand over. And so we said, we don't want to be messed up. We had 8 years of banning and re-banning, annulling and not allowing. So let's stay aside. And a good number of persons stood aside. But when that came on board, persons who felt, let's enter into it, whether for whatever reasons, they entered into it. And then people now began to see, oh, this, what they call it, a political or civilian system, it appears it will mature. And that's why people normally refer to it as nascent democracy, I'm sure we'll get out of that nascent and become mature democracy. Now, thereafter, others now want to come in. And you know, human beings are opposed to changes. So those who were already on the seat, who were not as qualified as persons who did not partake, now put up resistance. And so in the process, you will find that the meal that is served to the public may not be the best, as it were. I have not said all politicians are superb. Well, definitely no. Like all lecturers are not saints. Like we have all lawyers are not, even judges. So in any sector, you will find one Judas Iscariot among the disciples. So among politicians, there are people who will carry the stew, rather than getting to the parlor, they will pour it somewhere or give it to their children and run away. It happens. What the public would do,
I thought you were going to say it's happening, because for some they still think it hasn't stopped.
No, I have not said it's completely erased. What the public does, and in any part of the world, is after a period of time of 4 years, these persons who promise the stew, the meat, and you didn't see it, then you ask them to go. And that is the beauty of what we are saying, that our votes should count. And that started with the process of having this, what do you call it, pattern of voting. Okay. They brought in
first, you know, before then we had the option A4.
No.
Now, where we got
the one that Jega introduced was the
electronic voting system.
The electronic, but there's a name, particular name that is called this card reader.
The card reader.
Yes,
with a PVC card reader.
Now you cannot go and be thumb printing the way you like. So the votes are now counting. If the votes are now counting, we now look at you on the face. Chef, you cooked the soup that was not good. Leave the kitchen. So that is what the public should do. So
before I close on this, I must ask you something about political development in your state. Your party is the ruling party. Now, do you think we have a good chef and a good meal being served the people of Ondo State?
The governor of Ondo State is no less a person than our own Arakunrin Akeredolu SAN. He came in 24th of February 2017, a year plus now, and he's serving the meal. He has 4 years to prepare the meal and to dish out the meal. And for those of us who are his aid, who are working with him, we are busy at the kitchen preparing the meal, ensuring that where you need to put Maggi, you put. If you need crayfish, you put. If you need pepper, you put. And he is the big shell that is there. The meal is being prepared. A quick one. Of recent, you know, we had our congresses. And then some person said they went to hold congress somewhere. I am an adherent of the Holy Scripture because I take a cue from it. There was a time the sons of God and all that were gathered together somewhere in the book of Job, chapter 1. And then Satan also came around. And God said, where are you coming from? He said, going to and fro the earth. So there are people who go to and fro when good things are being done. And what will be their intention? We must throw spanner into this that is good. And so there are persons who will do that. But we know the governor is the leader of the party. The primaries were held. You know, there were no fracas at the congresses at the ward. There were no fracas at the local government congresses. So all of a sudden, you find that people said, oh, we had a parallel this. You know, these things come stage by stage. You don't just start a story building or two-story building from there. You must start from the foundation.
Do you think do you think the APC is going to be decimated by these grievances from a lot of people?
You know, the crisis being generated by some persons, it is natural.
Will they be punished?
No, it is a family. After a while, a deviant child, one way or the other, you need to call him to order. There are times you spank the child. There are times you take him to the correcting home. There are times you ignore the child, depending on the method. So we had our Congress. It was well held. Some persons said they had Congress somewhere, and they are entitled to do whatever they think. But at the end of the day, you will know that in the last election, some members of our party, APC, they got aggrieved, and they decided to say they were going to AD, and they left. Members of the party. Some of them were rewarded somewhere else. And then thereafter, those of them who became penitent and repentant, like the prodigal son. And with greater respect to my learned senior, Chief Olusola SAN, he came back and said, this is my home. And it's welcome back. So for those of them who may be behaving this around, one way or the other, when they have traversed land and sea, and they discover there is nothing as good as your father's home, they will come back.
A fine place for us to switch off the stove here. Many thanks for finding time to come all the way from Akure to join us in our kitchen. I'd like to say we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sulai.
We'll take a moment and we'll be back pretty much later. Stay with us. Welcome back. Good to have you join us again. Another meal being served now. We're being joined by the Commissioner for Regional Integration, Osun State, Bola Ilori. Good to have you join us. Your party is still in the news, and till this very moment, many still think that you have so many strange people and so many divisive, tendencies that you're trying to hush down. Are you being diplomatic when your party members come out in the open to say nothing is amiss? Tell us, what exactly is cooking within the APC just after the Congress?
Yeah, well, it's a cooking time, so all manners of spoon will be seen. There is a Yoruba proverb that when the elephant dies, so many knives will surely come to the table, come for sharing and butchering. So that's what you see. It's proper and normal to say that, yes, there's nothing amiss, but contestation for power will naturally generate controversies and all of that. So for us in APC, it's a normal process of contestation for power. But where people complain is when people go out of line of what is decent and normal, to now want to maybe go overboard in attacking people, in attacking journalists, in attacking fellow party members. Then that's beyond issue of politics that is meant for service. That's a concern. that people raise. So issue of contestation is not a problem.
So far so good. Would you say politics has been, from your party's perspective, has been for service?
Certainly. Regardless of what we may feel, APC globally, that's nationwide, you see, has shown more commitment and dedication to delivery of service to the people. That doesn't mean the party does not have its own challenges and the government does not have its own challenges. They are there. But you see a clear departure from what you used to see, where government is about self-aggrandizement, is about showmanship, is about personal enrichment and crude accumulation of wealth.
So why do you think people are complaining all of a sudden? Because even here in Lagos State, that lot of others had thought was the example, the shining light, we also saw the same complaint. So for the first time, 2018 would be a year of the dragon for your party, that so many things have been unleashed. What went wrong?
No. People are bound to contest. Lagos is a shining example. You are referring to the Parallel Congress in Lagos?
Absolutely.
Yes, wonderful. That's a celebration of democracy. Why Lagos remains a shining light is that nobody was attacked for expressing their opinion. Some were here doing it. When you know, in politics, the majority is expected to have its way, while the minority must still have their say. And look at the Lagos thing. Both congresses that held acknowledge that they have Ashwaju as their leader. Both congresses. So is the quarrel between two siblings that can never turn violent. You know, people would say, this one say, yes, you are my father. The other one say, yes, you are my father.
Then
so,
how does the father come in to calm frayed nerves?
Yes, that's the difference. Now it's for the father to look at the issues and say, okay, you are wrong here, you are right here, I give this one, and life goes on in the sharing of this stew. Okay, don't worry, you take this bit, you take this one, you are not entitled to this.
I want us to look at one. Let's just look at one key issue, and it has to do with some veterans, you know, veteran politicians. Since 1999, they've been on the saddle, going over and over again, contesting, and some of them, especially in Lagos State, came out to say enough is enough. We want some new people, new minds. And you say it's normal, but it didn't go down well with some of these veteran politicians. In your mind, which angle would you key into? Those who want new entrants, or those who say, let us continue the way it is. If you go to the polls, if you win, you win. If you don't, then you get out.
You see, why Lagos is peculiar and unique is that it has a soul and a conscience. You understand? And it's the conscience that said this time, some people had been there since 1999 in the same position, that it's time for them to move up or go home, or to find something else to do, find another accommodation, let new people come in. And
can we personify the conscience and the soul?
That's Ashwaju.
So who is the soul?
That's Ashwaju. There is nothing there.
So he said
people that, you see, you have been on this same, the party chairman, for instance, has been party chairman from AD. So it's time to move on. And you see that the man never showed any annoyance. But you know, some other people will not feel the same way. That is bound to bring controversy. It's a child birth process that people, you are bringing forth a new child. There must be pain in the process of delivery. So the child labor process is there. But surely I know, I trust, since both of them acknowledge that this is their leader, so it will not be a problem to reconcile. Where you have problems is like what you have in Ondo State, where people are being macheted, people are being beaten, you know, journalists are being beaten and sent to hospital just because of what? That cannot be about service. That's beyond it. Those people are the ones that are losing moral authority to claim anything democratic. But for people who came and say, okay, we are having a congress here, you are having, you know, there are two parallel congresses. Nobody harassed anybody.
What's really cooking in the APC? What's that meal that almost everyone is running towards? And I'll tell you, it looks like, you know, the nectar and the bee coming to the flower, because look at Ekiti State, which is the next election we'll be seeing in a few days.
Yeah.
We saw almost everyone, almost every heavyweight giving a shot at that particular ticket.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong in that. It's the beauty and celebration of democracy. But where you will credit APC is that after all the contestation, is there no peace there now? There's peace. After the huge, what you think will turn out to be conflagration in the kitchen, you just saw sudden calm. As water came in and everything became very, very calm now. So because the head of the house came out, you know, to say, yes, let's now move to the parlor to share this stew. So everybody, you know, they are on the same page now. The head of the family, which is the president, you know, said, okay, let everybody come together. And the other head of the family too came and had a family meeting where you saw Asiwaju, Buhari, everybody come together and spoke to the other contestants. Only one person will win at the end of the day. Others will lose, but you must create sense of accommodation. That's where the issue is. But when you say
that's very key.
It's key. Once you can guarantee that, everybody will say, okay, my interest is protected here, and there will be no crisis. But if you say you are shutting the gate, then people will not stop banging that gate.